Hello and welcome to the Mal and Johnny Show. On this week's programme, we're going to talk about trying to get the gig, going to the audition. Did I pass the audition, sir? I don't know. Johnny, I mean, you must have done loads of auditions in your time.
Well, I don't know hundreds. I've done quite a few. First one ever, when I was about, 19, 18, was in Swansea.
Right.
In a church hall, Town Hill, I think it was. Anyway, it was for a show for the old days, TWW it was called, instead of, HTV. And it was a fella called Brian Mickey, and the programme was called Looking for the Stars.
What?
It was a bit of a knock-knocks thing,
Yeah. So what did you do? What did you do to pass?
I passed the audition, yeah, we did. I had to go to Bristol to record it.
Right.
And then...
What did you do in the audition, though? Had you got your final act by then, or are you still a work in progress?
It was a work in progress, really. I did a couple of impressions and a bit of a tap dance and sang a song and tried to cram it all in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So the same song I had to do for the three things. So I think I did a Frankie Vaughan, a tap dance and a song. And then I didn't do another one then until I did a summer season audition in London for a summer season in Skegness. And I got a 20-week summer season with an old comedian called Reg Dixon, and it was a bunch of girl dancers. It was a big show. It was nice. So I enjoyed that. It was my first real pro job.
And how did you get the audition for that? Did they...
An agent.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because the first one, my father's seen in the paper, they're looking for people.
Right.
But then I got this agent in London, a fellow called Harry Dennis, an old Jewish bloke. He was a lovely fella, always signed off, God bless Harry. It's one of them. He's a real lovely old bloke,
Yeah.
And he got me this audition. And I stayed with Harry Dennis for a while. He got me a couple of gigs. And then my old man said, well, Harry can't get you much. He's not much of he's a nice bloke, but, he hasn't got. So my old man knew a bloke who was in London management. So they said, would you do an audition for Bill Robertson? He was the guy that was him and Mike Sullivan. They had Shirley Bassey, see? Oh, wow. So there was a place in London called the Nuffield Centre. And it was where the army boys used to go for a couple of drinks and so on. And used to do gigs in there for nothing as auditions. So I did an audition in there. Well, I did the show for the boys. And this guy came to see me from London Management, and he became my agent.
Right.
So from there on, I did a lot more then, because he was a good agent with plenty of fingers in the pie, see.
So you do a gig, for nothing, which is an audition. And every audition is for nothing, but it costs you to go to London, doesn't it, to follow your goals, your dreams?
I mean, the one I did for Up Knox was the funniest. I did it in Dyneley Studios in London, and the big sign on the wall, no tap dancing. Well, half my act was tap dancing. So I thought, well, I better do some anyway. So I'm halfway through it, and the bell goes off, a really loud bell. And they stopped me. But they liked what I did up to then. So they said, look, can you come into Liverpool? Are you in Liverpool? I said, funny enough, I got a gig in Liverpool. They said, well, come to the Jacob's Biscuit Factory where we're doing the auditions. I said, okay. So I went in, and they were all lined up, the usual suspects, And the guy before me walks on, and Hughie Green goes, hello, Norman, go on, then Born Free. He used to turn up every time of that. But he'd let him do it. He didn't want to shoot his life. And there was a little old woman sing, Nobody loves a fairy when she's 40. And then a guy gets on there. He's going to do Delilah, right? Now, we've only got a piano backing, okay?
Yeah.
So he gets to the bit where Tom goes, dang, da da dang, dang, da da dang. You go, yeah, right? So this bloke goes, yes. And the little one on the piano, ding, 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 ding. Anyway, I did my bit, and I got the job, and that's how I got on Up Knox.
Wow.
And I don't think I did an audition after that for ages, because I
You didn't need it, did you? You
didn't need it. I was getting jobs, yeah.
Johnny Tudor.
What about you?
Oh, well, actually, opportunity knocks. Yeah, I sent away, and they wrote back, Dear Miss Pope. I was only 12, and my name was Maldwin, so I suppose benefit of the doubt. I remember going to Cardiff and going in there, and the guy before me was really pushy. They give one song and they get another song and another song, and I went up there, played my own song. And, because Mary Hopkin had probably won the week before, or Janet Rees from Italy, and nothing. I'm not quite sure how I got the audition for HTV in Pontcanna. I think it might be my dad was a good friend of Ivor Emanuel growing up in Pontrhydyfen.
Oh, Ivor, lovely bloke.
And I think I wrote to everybody, can I, and I think he might have arranged it. Eric Weatherall, the guy's name was.
Oh, I worked with Eric.
Did you?
He was the head of music at HTV.
Arranger, lovely arranger and everything.
I did the Margaret Williams show, and Eric was the MD on it.
Yeah.
Really good musician.
Yeah.
He went to Ireland afterwards and ran the Irish radio orchestra.
All right. Well, obviously he saw nothing in me at all, except that I needed guitar lessons. No, what he said was he wrote back, said, very good and everything. It might be a good idea for you to get some guitar lessons, and he gave me an address of somebody. But in the meantime, I had sent a tape to John Peel, and my life had sort of changed, So
that's right. That's right.
But it is different because I suppose they're looking for a different type of thing. They weren't looking for an alternative John Peel late night Radio 1 singer-songwriter. They were looking for an entertainer, and I definitely, whether I am now, but I definitely wasn't the finished article back then. I was saying, little guy with a little guitar, and
there we are.
right then, other auditions. Now, after that, it's funny, isn't it? Because once you've done something, like being the winner, Opportunity Knocks, and getting onto New Faces. I know you didn't want to do that, but you did it anyway. But you've got this television credentials. You can't really do auditions, can you? It's like it's.
Well, the thing is, with light entertainment, you don't really do many auditions. But with acting, even the big stars have to audition.
Yeah.
You get people like Anthony Hopkins has to do 2 auditions for a film. I mean, you can't believe it now, but that's what happens still. Yeah. I don't know why, but
maybe it's because they're playing something. They're playing somebody else. They've got to be right for that role. Whereas if we're doing it, we're just doing what we do. And if you either like it or you don't like it, do you? It's like, I suppose.
Exactly.
Now then, the next audition, I was mid-30s. It was an odd one. I had might be even later than that. I'd done my TV series for HTV, which were songs and music and interviewing people and playing guitars and stuff like that. And I played guitar with Cliff Richard and the Bee Gees, and we had guests coming down. I was on tour with Art Garfunkel, and a Welsh guy called Di Davis said, we're putting a show together in America, a bit like your old TV show. Would you come up and do an audition? So they were looking for a British male or female, and then whatever they chose in Britain, they'd go for the opposite in America. So I was there all afternoon. You go up in the train, spend your money. I did the thing, and they gave me the gig. I mean, I just did what I wasn't nervous about it, because I thought, I think I'd got to the point in my mind of thinking, this is what I do. If they don't like what I do, I can't do anything else. So I did it. Yeah. And then I was part of the audition process in New York. So they've chosen me as the British male, so they're looking for an American female. So we go out, we fly business class, we stay in a hotel by the park.
All paid for.
All paid for. We go, the director is the guy who directed Live Aid in Philadelphia, lovely, called Phil O'Neill. And anyway, Mr. O'Neill. And then we go to this Sony Studios, right in the heart of Manhattan, and they keep on bringing me women. And one lady, it was a TV show, honestly. And then one of them was the daughter of the people who ran the Russian tea rooms. Then another one was a singer, and then this lady called Bet came in, and she was Whitney Houston's musical director.
Never.
And so I got on well with all these girls. We interviewed somebody else. We talked together. We did a bit of playing, and so they chose Bet. They chose her, and then I flew back to Britain. This TV series going to be made in America. Nothing. I passed the audition. There wasn't a gig in the end of the day. That was it. Nothing.
You're joking.
Nothing.
Whoever was putting it on ran out of money.
Something happened. Years later, I thought, I wonder what happened to that guy. He's from New Zealand. He used to do MasterChef on PBS in America. So I thought I'd email him. And he said, well, I've just emailed Bet. He said, I was going to email you. He said, it looks like it's back on. He was working with David Frost at that stage. So he said, are you in London ever? Well, as it was, my son was going to go to university. I was going to be in London. I said, well, so we met up. He came. We had this long afternoon together. He told me all about David Frost being involved, and then David Frost went and died.
Oh, my God. I mean, I tell you what, you talk about Sod's Law, this business. I mean, things like that happen all the time. I mean, it's like I was writing the film with Dorothy Squires, right? Yeah. First of all, I was doing it with Pete Edwards.
Yes.
No, first of all, it was with Paul Turner, who had the Oscar nomination, right? Yeah. Paul died, right?
Yes.
And then I'm doing it with Pete Edwards, and Pete Edwards died. I thought, am I jinxed or is it Dorothy jinxing us? I didn't know what was going on.
I suppose.
But going back about another audition.
Yeah, go on.
When I got up Knox, I got a recording contract from it because somebody from the recording company saw me on the night. And they sent a load of stuff off to people. But then one day they rang me up. They said, look, John, we've got a musical coming over from New York and we're the publishers.
Right.
And we've got you an audition for a part in this musical. So I said, okay, where have I got to go? Down to South End because they're doing the out-of-town previews out of town. And they're coming into the West End after. So I go down now to this place. And the fellow was called Alexander Bridge. Right. I didn't know it at the time. But he was gay and he had a push on for getting boys to take their shirt off to audition. So I didn't know why he wanted me to sing with my shirt off at the time. So I did the audition and I thought, he's not doing hair. Why have I got to take my shirt off? Anyway, I got the job and that's it. We did the weekend or 2 weeks in Southend. Then we went into the Fortune Theatre for a season.
Wow! And that was
a funny audition.
That was Funny Thing Happened. Was it? Was that the Funny Thing Happened?
No, it was called Cindy.
Cindy.
It was a Jewish version of Cinderella.
Oh wow!
And it was and she was called Cindy Krella, and I was Lucky, which was the Buttons character in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And she had two ugly sisters, but it was like all in New York. I had to talk like that. Do you know what I mean? So I was doing my. I sounded like Sylvester Stallone. So
how did you get the one in on the Funny Thing Happened on the way to the Forum? Did they know you, or did you have to audition for that?
No, that was easy because my agent at the time was Bill Roberts, as I told you, and he. The show was put on by London management.
Oh, okay.
And so I was with London, and they just said, "You're doing this next week," you know.
Great.
So I went down and I was in the show. I enjoyed that show. Actually, it was a very good show.
Yeah, it's great to be right in the centre of town and doing all that. Have you ever been on the other side of the audition process, where you've been one of the guys behind the desk?
Yeah, but only I don't like it really because I feel for the kids doing it. You know. Only for the Dorothy Squires play I wrote called Say It With Flowers. I wrote with Mike Povey.
Right.
And we were auditioning for somebody to play Dorothy.
Right.
We had Ruth Marek to play Dorothy as the older Dorothy, but we needed a younger Dorothy to play up to like 30s. And I was up in London watching these girls, and some of them were great singers, but they didn't have any feel for the character.
Yeah.
Then this last girl came in, and she just knocked our socks off because she was fantastic. You can tell, see, straight away, I think. And I'm sitting there thinking, they're going through hell now. They're doing their pieces, waiting to come in. It's an awful feeling, auditions. I hate it.
Yeah, it is. Because, as you say, you probably know within the first 5 minutes whether they're right for the role. Not whether they're any gold. Because they're going to be, good to, their agents, to have agents, to send them in. They're going to be a certain level.
Yeah.
It's just, actually, you sort of know what the part needs to be.
That's right. And the feel. And this girl, I forgot her name. It's terrible, that name. What was her name? Gillian Kirkpatrick. She's won awards since.
Yeah.
She's really good, and she could sing great, but she acted like Dorothy. She had that oil about her, you know.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, I've done it a few times, and you want to show enough respect, as you say, because you're feeling for them. They're not right, but you let them go through their thing. It's always that thing with Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie when he's standing on the stage and they say he does his bit. They said, we want someone taller. I can be taller. We want someone older. I can be older. They said, we want someone else. That's the bottom line.
Right, yeah. He dressed up then, didn't he? It was it's terrific. I mean, the thing is, like Alwyn's had a part. My wife Alwyn, she's auditioned for stuff, and she didn't get the job. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then she's second on the bill. You know what they do? You're penciled in, which means you're in their books. Then you're heavily penciled, and eventually you're penned, depending if you get the job.
Yeah.
And she's been heavily penciled, didn't get it. Anyway, turns out the woman who was going to do the part, it was in the Sherman actually, was taken ill. So they rang Alwyn and said, you got the job. And they said afterwards, you were better than the original. So you think to yourself, well, why didn't you give me the job in the first place? But it's all down to taste of whoever's looking at you.
Yeah, and you must not, I'd say that to anybody who goes from it's don't take it personally. Don't take it personally.
No, they tell you that, but you do.
You do, yes. It's like
it gets to you.
Every bad review, every person who says they hate you. Yeah.
I know.
At one of the musicals that I did with Michael Bogdanov, and Michael was very good as well because he'd done hundreds and thousands of auditions over the years. So he didn't do the next. He'd give people time, and he'd actually give people a bit of a critique for how their audition
That's
had
great.
gone, which is good. Yeah, particularly.
So you see this Simon Cowell, they press the button. I think it's cruel.
Yeah.
That program is cruel.
Yeah.
Because, they must go through loads of kids that can't do anything, really. They go in there because they think they're good. Their mother's told them to do it. Yeah. And you've got to let them sing the song. Like Huey Green, Go On Norman, Born Free. He knew he was rubbish, but he let him do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This young girl came in. Must have been one of her first auditions. I'm not sure if she had any training, whether she'd just seen it somewhere and turned up. And she put her music on the piano.
Yeah.
You ready? Right. And it was, you say potato and I say potato. You say tomato and I say tomato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing. And she sang it very sweetly, but she hadn't quite got the gist of what. Honestly, I'm not even making that up. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. But if you're going to that's the thing. Starting off, once you've got a CV, you've got something to show to people. When you're starting off, you sort of have to do everything, don't you? You have to go to every audition, every talent show. You got to send your tapes. Persistence is the name of the game. Persistence. What's
good now is for acting jobs is you haven't got to go to London anymore.
Yeah. Because
everything's been done on Zoom over the last 2 years, and people kept doing it. So rather than going up to London, which costs you like £100, and you have a meal and come home, and then you don't get the job, you just do it in your house. You put your camera on your phone, and you do it.
Yeah.
Like Alwyn did one the other week, and she got the job, and it was a really good one. It's in a new series called Wolf, I think. It comes out. It's a 6-part drama, BBC One.
Oh, great.
And she just did it. She said, we'll do it. I won't hear anything. They rang her, she got the job.
Which is good for everybody, really. It saves on, saves on the carbon emissions. It saves you as an artist for going all there, wasting all day and that money. And, it is just like half an hour of your life and then you can maybe treat it that way as well. Not with lack of respect, but put it into some sort of context.
Well, you're not uptight. You haven't got 3 people sitting in front of you with a light on. You're looking at you.
Yeah.
You're doing it in your own home. And if you record it, have a look at it back. No, it's not very good. I'll do that again.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in an audition. It's like,
no, can I start again, please?
And that's it.
Next.
Yeah. Sometimes, I don't know if you know this, but like whenever you've done one, like live, like you come on, why did I do that? Or, I could have done that better. And you kick in yourself,
It's like an exam, isn't it? You think, number 3 was divide, not multiply. I never thought at the time.
I'll tell you about that now.
Yeah.
You know me in school. I must have been OCD or something. Not OCD. What they call that thing when you can't concentrate?
ADHD.
Yeah. I never. So I go into the English lesson for the 11 plus.
Yeah. The
exam. Open your papers, and it's all about. It was I don't think it was How to the Baskervilles to say it was.
Yeah.
Right. I couldn't answer anything because I hadn't read the book. I should have read the book. I was told to read the book. And I just sit in there. So I made something up.
Did he pass?
No. Didn't get anywhere.
They should have given him for your creativity, but he should have put it through.
They should have said, this boy's good, he's written a story. It's got nothing to do with the question. Oh, my God.
Brilliant, man.
But no, auditions, they're nerve-wracking the best of times.
Yeah.
But you have to do them when you start, that's it.
You have to do them. There's no other way.
Yeah.
All right, well, how's the weather, by the way? You've been in the sea at all?
And I've been in the sea this week, yeah. It's getting colder. It's getting warmer, or I'm getting used to it. One or the other.
I've had a paddle.
Still cold.
I've had the first paddle of the summer, so I'm getting there. Just up to my ankles.
The first one was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just dived in, literally dived out again. Wow. But like this week, I was in and did quite a few strokes. I'm getting into it now.
Well done. All right.
There we are.
So it's. We hope we've passed the audition. It's good.
Have we passed the audition? BBC. We want to do the Mal&Johnny Show on air.
We'll see what happens. It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from me. And you.
See you soon. Bye.
Ta-da, Valley.